God damn it. Well, I mean, thankfully I only need one claw to test stuff, but...
What just happened? That dude is dead. You know, I had theorized that that was a thing for a very long time. I didn't have any actual proof of it until just now.
How about this?
Did I make him fucking hurt himself?
Hello. What's up? How's it going? Yada yada blah blah blah. Beware of your environment. It can kill you. I haven't played this in a while, so... Wow, I'm not used to it having this many frame janks. It might be smoothing up, though. I'm trying to remember what the route is here. I'm pretty sure it's to go... It's like, this is something I always forget. I'm pretty sure it's to go... Vroom, vroom, vroom. I'm pretty sure it's to go forward right here, and to go... Fucking hell, dude. It's so hard to remember exactly what... Sure thing, Twitch. While I'm trying to remember this, let me turn on something I forgot. Because, like, this is one of those instances where there's, like, a number of different ways that you could handle this situation. It's like, see, here's the thing. Like, if I take the elevator up there, I go through some rooms behind there, and then end up exiting a door on that level. I think that's it right there. Someone is a dumb piece of shit, and I hate them. Anyways, oh, I think I remember. Okay, hold on. Gotta love the idea of, like, spending a while thinking about the route. Like, spending long enough thinking about it that if I had just gone a direction, it would have taken less time. Wait, no, what I'm thinking doesn't actually make sense. Hey, purple. Ah, shit. I whiffed. Well, that was clumsy of me. Right now, I just, I don't know. I've been stressed for the last couple of days, and I would just really like to just feel relaxed. And it's been a little bit since I've felt genuinely just chill. Yeah, see, this doesn't make sense either because, as far as I know, you can't actually get onto this from here. One day I will remember, because like at one point I genuinely had like a very, very logical route for this. That parry was fully luck. Fully and entirely lucky. That, on the other hand, was just bad. I'm not used to you having really any room to move around. It's the first boss, and I got fucking swatted. Memory serves, that's the weapon I'm actually currently using. Fucking hell. I think that the game might not be quite loud enough. Tiny bit louder, I think. Anyway. Oh, what's up, buddy? I didn't see you there. Trying to remember what is this technology again? Okay. Whatever. What are you doing, dude? This guy in particular is just like running around aimlessly. Oh. What the hell? Alright. Yeah, they shouldn't be moving like that. I don't know what the deal is with this. The game is, having some weird frame rate issues. And also, like, I mean, I'm not surprised at that, but it's having some weird frame rate issues, and then also enemies just kind of launching across the room. It's a bit odd in all directions. Now, see, I thought I had done something about all this. But I guess I forgot some shit. Nice. I think it's Pyro Resin Epic that I'm mostly looking for, however. The epics are the only ones that are, like, really worth keeping. Now see, thankfully, that projectile that he deflected, it's not nearly as fat as it looks like it is. Which is good, because otherwise that would have been fucking tragic. You see, so far I've knocked out 2 bosses. Neither of which are particularly threatening or interesting, TBH. So there is some, oh wait, where the hell am I trying to go? Oh, I was supposed to come from the other side, I think. Yeah, hold on. Before I continue, there is some tactical maneuvering in terms of how you should move in this game. Yeah, I should have come down the opposite side of the room. That's kind of what I thought, but I doubted myself. Whatever. When you're waiting for doors to open, you really should pull out your gun immediately. And not even necessarily because, ooh, there might be a baddie back there, but because your stamina starts coming back more quickly. I didn't expect this. I know that these enemies I'm about to see are weak to ice, but I think... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that does just as well, more or less. I used to pull out ice specifically for certain rooms, and like these days, for the most part, I try to avoid switching my setup for any reason. I don't think there's really a reason to come back here. So I'm trying to kill these while they're closer to me, so that I can get them to drop things near me. Because the alternative is having to run all over that room. Now these things, they're a bit weird. Some of them, like, they don't all act the same. The blue ones are very consistent. The blue ones chew up your battery, but if memory serves, the red ones either chew up your stamina first and then your HP, or they just chew up your HP. And like, it's fast. It's not a small amount of HP, it's very quick. So this shortcut only exists because I've done the loop around before, but... Or at least I think that that's how it worked. But, you'd think that this area, given that it has that, Yeah, because you would normally drop down into this path right here, but you'd think that given that it has that there'd be some hazards to avoid. If you've seen the way that I play games, I very much prefer to kill all the enemies. If there are enemies to kill, I want to kill them. That's just how I am in video games. But having said that, for some reason, even though there's two paths and one of them is a shortcut, you would think that there would be something to the other path, but there's not. What the hell? That's fine. The only thing that you're really trying to avoid, like the main thing you're trying to avoid in that fight, is like when you have a whole lot of power, it's possible to do enough damage where the queen will activate that like sea of fire kind of effect behind you without having taken down the barrier that she creates in front of herself. And that's very much just a get fucked kind of scenario. Trying to remember how much juice I need to level up. I think we're still not quite in the 100,000 per level up range. I also know, so this game is a bit weird about this. It doesn't, as far as I can tell, it doesn't have like a logical cap on your level, but it does have a cap on how high the requirements for levels is. And once you exceed that amount, it just no longer has a valid number to require for level ups. I think it's fair to say that it's not, like, designed that way so much as it's a lack of design that makes it that way. Oh, whoops, I was not close enough. So the way the enemy staggers are in this game, they're not like set in stone whether or not they stagger to specific things. It's more that if you do enough damage with an attack, the attacked will stagger. Can't say that I've seen this happen before. I am confused. Again, this game is doing some weirdness, dude. As far as I know, headshots don't do anything. That was not a good shot. That was. Hi. Oh, right, there's nothing back here now. So we're about to meet the only enemy in the game that's just immune to guns. You can shoot at it. It just doesn't matter much. Pretty sure it always drops that, like, every single time. You know, the funny thing about it is that, like, my first time through, I thought I was grinding, like, I thought I needed an item from it that wasn't the bones. Next 97 I wait for, okay. But yeah, I thought I needed some other drop from it, and it turns out the bones was what I needed. Dude, yeah, it's like being frame jankety, and I do not know why. God damn it. One down. Brr. Hey. By the way, an awful lot of people talked some mad shit about this game. This is a good... Like, I want to be real clear about this. This is a good game. I wish it had more content. This is... You know what? This is another one of the games that, like... That, like, the biggest issue I have with it is that it just doesn't have enough content. Like, you'd think it being pretty close to being a Souls-like, that it would at least have a New Game Plus, but it doesn't even have that. I remember there was a day when I was killing the enemies in this area, and I popped one of those enemies while it was still over, well, a large gap, and it dropped a fucking gold drop, and there was nothing I could do about it. Absolutely nothing, and I felt completely thrashed. I forget why I typically switch to or stick with the I forget why I typically stick with the acid reactor, but I'm thinking I should stick with the fire one, because, like, realistically the acid damage is what I use, like, bread and butter for a lot of basic stuff, but fire is where the damage is at, and the reactor is typically something that you use when you're trying to pump out the damage. I got stuck. Ah, fucking pissed, dude. I think that was actually about to get really interesting in ways I didn't want. That time it didn't even really have enough time to do any of the, like, more annoying shit that it's capable of doing. So anyways, the game has 3 elements. It has ice, fire, acid. Yes, acid is an element in this game. There's actually a lot of, like, neat little buffs and debuffs depending on what kind of equipment you have put together. Or like each of the guns has a neat little bonus that's associated with it. I say each of most of the guns have a neat little bonus associated with them. Wait, what's the... Hold on. I don't think that there is anything behind this door, but what's the deal with... Anyway. Like, for instance, this gun sometimes fires a much larger projectile. Like, when you fire it, it has the small beams that fire out to the side and then collect into one projectile. And sometimes that produces a much larger projectile that does double damage. Did that not hit him? I feel like that should have hit him. I see. I was thinking it's just interesting in general to see people, like, how other people have approached this game. Because I have not once found somebody playing this game that has decided to use the claws. Which is just plain odd to me. Because, like, you'd think that somebody, maybe I'm the crazy one, right? I'm not, because I've experimented with this all the time. But look, in gaming, when you're offered a bunch of different like weapon types, right, that all handle differently, like, is it just it can't possibly be just me. You should go through and you should try those on. You should try each of them out and see how they feel. See how they play, like, you know, actually get an idea of which one of them is actually the better option. But I also have an assumption across a whole lot of video games that typically fist-based options are the most mobile, right? They tend to be the options that have the most viability in terms of, like, being able to quickly get in, get out, get your damage done, avoid damage, etc., etc. And I gotta say, that's been true in a lot of fucking games. He was trying to go through another phase of spitting the webs all over the place. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of the webs, but basically this version of that boss will spit like balls of... I don't really want to call it spider web because it's not a spider, but it's basically spider web. And the gimmick is that those slow you down a bunch, and it forces you to do a melee attack to cut it. What? I was about to say, where's the fucker at? I knew it was here somewhere. Rude ass. How did it... How did that happen? I used to think that you couldn't gun these guys down. Now I'm not sure. Like the last time that I played it, I had... You know, I was not having any trouble at all just shooting them to death. It's just weird. Maybe it's just because the game is a bit on the buggy side. This thing, I know that you can shoot. What? By the way, I still have no idea, like, as far as the in-game reason for why there's, like, ghost soldiers that show up and help you in certain places. I don't know. They just do. So earlier I mentioned that there are elements in this game, 3 of them. The thing about the elements in this game is, like, an enemy having, like, the freeze proc or the acid proc or the fire proc, like, you'd think that that would do something to them inherently. Like, a fire proc sounds like you would be burning and taking damage over time, but that's not how it works. How it works is that if an enemy has an acid proc on them and then you hit them with an acid-based melee attack, then you get, like, bonus damage. And, like, that bonus damage comes in the form of, like, bursts, like little bursts of elemental damage. And that'll hit enemies nearby as well. And it also reinforces that elemental damage to everything in the group. However, having said that, trying to hit a group with this is maybe not the smartest play, because that means that you're in the middle of a group, and being in the middle of a group is typically not a preferable place to be. But keeping one enemy just like completely clowned with acid damage or fire damage for a really long time is certainly useful. And the added damage can be quite intense, depending on how you've spread your stats. Fucking hell, man. Also, healing in this game is a bit different. For instance, when you heal in this game, you don't heal with, like, a single-use curative. You heal with energy. You see the blue meter is also how I shoot bullet. But there is a difference between, like, permanent energy and impermanent energy, which is not really how it describes it, but whatever. It's like when I fire bullet, there's a bit of blue meter that goes away, but, like, it's sort of like when you take damage in a fighting game and you have the difference between red health and yellow health. But, like, when you fire bullet, like, the maximum energy stays there, but you get, like, the regenerative energy that goes down. Whereas when I heal, I lose permanent energy, but then I've got batteries. Those are the consumables. So you pop a battery, you get more permanent energy. Meanwhile, if you have, like, the right technologies on, so, like, think about it in terms of, like armor sets in other games, except in this case, it's not really an armor set so much as it is, like, different pieces of equipment have what this game refers to as technologies on them. So, human technologies, I think the alien race is Nicoderma, and mining technology. Why are miners their own specific race? Who knows? But, depending on how many of those technologies, that's this tab, depending on how many of those technologies you have, or Revian. Anyways, that determines which ones of these you get. I have literally never experienced the maximum technology in any tree. But the main thing that I want in... well, driller, not mining. Anyways, the main thing that I want right now is these two, because that means more juice for leveling up. Do I need to level up at this point? Not at all. But, I mean... I don't know why, but in games like these, I really, really, really enjoy becoming overpowered and seeing just how absurd that can get. Yeah. Because I can level up right now. So these are your stats. It does a really, really, really good job of telling you what everything does. Right now, the goal is to get everything to 40. At some point or another, anyway. And energy... It's like, energy increases how, like, what my maximum energy is, but it also increases my defense to elemental attacks. Okay, 98054. That doesn't seem all that different from what it was. God, what is with these janky frames, bro? Bitch. Anyways, I should get probably 2 more level ups worth of juice by the end of the full loop. Also, anybody that ends up watching this, I wouldn't judge this game based on the gameplay you're seeing here. I am wildly overleveled. This is not what this this is not a good representation of what this gameplay would be if I was a reasonable level. Though I do think my full playthrough, my original full playthrough of this, I think is on my YouTube channel somewhere. Probably in the backlog. Ooh, someone dropped a legendary. Cryo metal? That is not the thing that I want. I don't think that there's anything else in here. I don't remember what's back here. There's this upper platform. I'm not even sure that you're able to fall off of this ever here. It'd be really convenient if I could just drop down at this point. But yeah, it won't let you. Yeah, if I could just drop down there and just take a reasonable chunk of damage. Yeah, that dropped something. I'd be okay with it. I think it's interesting how I haven't played this in ages, but I'm still quite used to the movement. I'm not managing my green and blue nearly as well as I should be, but I'm not nearly as shit at this as I thought I was gonna be. Oh, whoops, I didn't push the button quite in time. Bruh, I am not reacting worth a shite. Okay. Ah, fuck. The only reason I went in at the end there was because that part doesn't look right. What? Whatever. I knew he was basically dead. So where we are now is like the next to last area. So it's got like I'd say 4 major areas, though the last one is pretty small in comparison. It's just like 2 large zones. I guess realistically, none of these individual areas are particularly large. But yeah, that's how fast those kills can be when you actually get the elemental shit at play. That first one, I had basically full stamina when I went in for that attack, and it didn't matter that much. I just barely was able to take him down, even though he got completely staggered right away. I mean, in 1 stamina bar. Meanwhile, the next guy, I lit him on fire. What, 3 or 4 hits later? Boom, done. So the movement in this, like, trying to control your stamina and your energy at the same time is, like, there's a lot more intricacy to the movement than it would seem at first. Like, while running, you're consuming stamina. If you just walk, you don't. But like if you turn on your reactor and do dive rolls, then you consume energy, not stamina. But if you're running while you have the reactor on, you consume stamina, not energy. And if you're doing both, then you're chewing up both, and that's not helpful at all. By the way, I'm pretty sure if that deflection had just gone right through me, I either would have been dead or very close. So that was extremely trash. So this enemy here is a fire-resistant variant of the enemies that we've been fighting. Thankfully, you could just take him down with some elemental use and, well, acid. Acid is important on the guy that doesn't like fire. Well, isn't weak to fire. I don't know how to take... How to use words? I don't get it. So this room has a lot of enemies in it that are all circling clockwise. So if you circle counterclockwise, then you can meet them all head on. I think that was all of them. Oh, I probably didn't mention earlier that the guns have, like, alternate firing modes. Though I may have made that kind of obvious earlier by firing the, because, like, the acid gun, for instance, has that simple shot right there. It also has that fat shot right there. This one's alternate firing method has, basically it makes a little fire black hole, sorta, kinda. But it chews up permanent energy, so it's one of those things where it's like, I found some places where it could theoretically be very useful, but I'm not sure it's really ever worth the energy. What? How the hell did that happen? We take those, but I don't get it. I do like how in this area they were like, let's just start mixing up enemies from other areas. But I don't... Like, you know, Elderborn sort of did a little bit of that too, by, like, bringing in some enemies from the catacombs late game, but at the same time, I have thought about doing some just like for shits and giggles, like doing speedruns of what I'm doing right now. Like, I know a genuine speedrun of this game exists, so, and honestly, I don't even think it would be that difficult to do, like, actual runs of this. I'm just not super interested in that. It's sort of like how I was planning to put together a timer for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. But, like, not because I was gonna do serious runs. Definitely not that. It just seemed like, a relatively interesting way to grind. You know what? I know I've been dealing with these guys with fire, but I'm still pretty sure that acid is the way to go. Yeah. Nah. For whatever reason, if you fire at that one on the left from far enough to the left... I was gonna say... I was gonna point out that he didn't react, but then this guy didn't either. That one's different. I don't know what the hell this game's deal is right now, but... I think I understand why I was going after them with the fire. for the big staggers. Ah! That was a pretty good Labrosia. Anyways, I have enough for another level up. And then we go to 99034. Genuinely, there's no reason I wouldn't acquire that during this. Wait. This way. Durr. Okay. I don't know why he suddenly got shy. These guys are just not doing a very good job of being menacing, and they're usually way better at it than this. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. See, yeah, there's some examples of them just bringing back some early level enemies. Why? Oh. Bruh. I recall a review of this game that said outright, as soon as you, quote, as soon as you discover the ice rifle, everything is dead. Also, quote, melee is completely useless. Like, shit, son. How did you play through this entire game and never learn anything? There's definitely some enemies that do not give a shit about your ice rifle. I have that thing, it's okay. It's sort of like the end game, it's sort of like the end game acid rifle, with the exception that, like, it's not nearly as strong. And, it has the same drawback, because the in-game acid rifle is actually not good. And the primary reason for that is because it chews through your battery immediately. So, basically, if the thing ain't dead already, you got no juice. So it'll do a lot of damage very fast. It will also leave you with no juice. Very all or nothing kind of shit. But again, I think that those kinds of reviews are from people that never, ever, ever tried the different melee weapons and to see how, like, everything in this game actually works, man. Because, like I said earlier, the best, most optimal things that you can do in this game come from combining gun and melee. Like, the people that designed this definitely 100% wanted you to do both. So Dolmen fragments, that's what the 108 is in the top right. That's your boss refight juice. So if I didn't have those, if I didn't have like a nice healthy amount of Dolmen fragments, I would not be able to refight bosses. Ah, shite. I will say this though, trying to use melee strats against this guy is definitely suicidal. So, Nikifura, that's the end-game rifle that I'm talking about. That thing, it will obliterate your blue bar, but it has insane burst damage. But if the thing you're shooting at either A isn't alone or B manages to not die, you got no juice to work with. You gotta wait for your whole fucking bar to come back. Anyways, that boss, like in the storyline, you don't actually kill him. He, like, you bring him down to 50% HP, and then he gets called away. The invasion gets called off, and then I guess they switch to a destroy everything plan. Anyway, just about everything in this area is shredded with acid. Not everything, but just about everything. Rude ass. Oh, shit. Okay. That was just me choosing impatience. That was very definitely a bad idea. Oh, right, there's more of you. So yeah, when you kill those guys, their heads explode. For reasons, I'm sure of it. See, that right there is a great example. That, by the way, this is the only instance of this particular enemy. That thing never shows up again. But that was a great example of what I'm talking about. Like, in that moment, theoretically, the little fire black hole would be really, really nice. It just doesn't actually work out that way. Because you hit the thing with it, and it fucks off. I'm gonna try beasting on things in here with fire instead of acid. I got a couple of Lizzies right here. Boink. There's another queen in here. Maybe the only enemy in the game that actually sits still enough to warrant using this thing's alternate shot. Cryogenic part's epic. That's, like I said, I'm pretty sure the thing that I'm more or less looking for. Like I think it's like the only material I'm still theoretically looking for is pyro resin epic. Well, this shit just don't want to show up, man. Was this battle block? Yeah, buddy. My brain almost said battle royale. By the way, it's possible, like, at one point I did that attack to this particular plant, and I ended up behind these 2 bits of mushroom, and now I don't even want to get anywhere near that shit. That is when I re-investigated whether or not bullets would destroy these. In fact, I think I quote-unquote re-investigated it by complaining, why doesn't bullet destroy— oh. Huh. Okay. Okay, that was extremely clumsy, but it turned out okay, I guess. So you have enough for another level up again. So when I said that this game doesn't have, like, an actual limit on leveling up, so typically with games like this, usually what happens is I just get curious. I just want to know, like, what is the level limit? Where does the game draw the line? And so I used Cheat Engine, found the variable, and just bumped it up to, I don't know, an impossible sum, something like 99 million. And just kept going up until eventually what happened. But, like, for one thing that what I found to be weird is that it only wants to let you do, like, 100 and, I think it was 33 levels in any one category at a time. So you can do that number of... I think actually it may have been 140. It doesn't really matter how many it was. There is a maximum number that it'll let you do in any one category at a time. But you can do that same number in all the categories. But, like, once I got past a certain number, it just stopped requiring any nanites at all. The number that I had cheated to acquire stopped going down. But I was still able to put in level ups. Like, very, very bizarre shit. Now, I'm not sure when that is. I'd be willing to bet I'm not terribly far from reaching that point legitimately, because I did revert my file, obviously, because I don't have, like, 140 levels in anything. Well, there's the 40 energy. This is another, like, I know that you can melee this guy. There is a melee strat that involves a really tasty parry right at the beginning, but I don't trust that because this guy is extremely rude. Stuff like that. Ooh. Like, funny enough, the item that you get from him is also for the endgame assault rifle. I don't get it. I mean, obviously, like, you just beat the game, so what is it? What should it reward you with? Apart for a unique equip? Like, what the hell would even be the point of that? It would, like, that would make sense if there was a New Game Plus. Okay, trying to remember... Dismantle, right, because you can turn these into nanites. I think I'll keep the rares and epics. These other things, I don't need these. Let's see, this is a unique item. This thing is very strange. One of them drops from a crate, And if you get that drop and then somehow fail to pick it up, then it just disappears forever. Rusty driller tool. I don't remember what that's for. Hold on. I think that's what that is. Yeah. I mean, realistically, most of these I can just get rid of and not worry about it. Put it this way, if I've got 100 of the fucking things, we're getting rid of 100. What in the hell just happened? Why is it doing that, dude? Stop it! Funny thing about like the dismantling of items here, I did not even know you could do this until like well past the end game. Oh, it's 66. Anyways, short break, and then we're gonna come back with something else.